So, adapting the NVC process. So the phrase NVC, non-violent communication. So this word violent is controversial. If you say to someone, shall we look at this non-violent communication process? You're calling me violent. You're saying I'm a violent person. So we have a whole bunch of preconceived notions of what it means. What that means is we need to define it. Work within some kind of common understanding. So when we use this word violence in general, what is it? And what would violent communication be? And which of the domains of experience can it exist at? Physical violence, of course, we understand that. What is emotional violence? Does it exist? What is intellectual violence? Does it exist? Adapting the NVC process. So it's a process where both the giver of information and the receiver are fully self-aware and present. So as we had touched on earlier, it means having an overall ideal and a clear intention of what you're trying to do. If you're giving information, you need to be honest. So if I'm going to ask for honesty from you, my responsibility is to develop resilience. When I'm speaking to you, I must be deliberate. Doesn't mean perfect. Doesn't mean I don't make any missteps. Once it's come out of my mouth, I might recognize, that doesn't sound accurate. Let me try again. Deliberate doesn't mean perfect. It just means deliberate. Whatever I do, I'm choosing to do it. The other side of it for me is to be listening actively. They are deliberately speaking. I am deliberately listening rather than just waiting for my turn to speak. And for both, a sense of compassion. So I'm just going to go through the process here very quickly. It's a 4-step process. As a speaker, the first thing I do is to deliver my observations. I describe the things that I heard, that I saw. So what we're dealing with here at the outset are external facts only. It's the receipt of stimuli, part of the mechanism of experience. We're not assuming anyone else's intentions or feelings, nor are we beginning to explain our own thoughts and feelings yet. It's simply describing the senses. Second stage gets into our thoughts and feelings. What we do is explain how what we observed made us feel. Being direct, being clear on that, and making sure that it is an emotion or a feeling. And this trips a lot of people up. We start to describe what we experienced, and we describe all around the feelings rather than actually getting onto them. The second is the thinking part. What was the message that you received? When you speak to me with excessive, unnecessary volume, I feel frightened. The message I receive from that is that you don't like me. It's what we are thinking to ourselves. It's the story that we put behind what we're experiencing. It has a particular meaning to it. Third element is to identify a core need that is being unmet by the situation. And so this is obviously why it's so important for us to distinguish our needs from our wants. Be very clear about the need that you have, and also clear about what happens if the need is not met, and connect that experience that you're having to that need. Because this need is not being met, I feel this way. And I'm going to go through an example so it'll become a bit clearer. Fourth and final aspect is to make a request. Since you understand that the need is not being met, you make a request that does address that need. So what you're doing here is taking responsibility for your own needs. You are making a request of somebody else, but you're doing it in a way that is non-attached, recognizing that that other person is free to choose. I'm not trying to compel them to do something differently. I'm asking, fully aware that they may say no. And if they do, I accept it and say, okay. But the important point is that you are making a request, not a demand. And make it a we statement, something that we both do rather than something that you have to do to fix my experience. Okay, what's a simple example here? Two people, Alex and Jamie. They come across a word game and they decide to start playing it together. You have a set of jumbled letters and you have to find as many words as possible from that set. Now, Alex includes words that she's not 100% sure even exist. And then at the end, gets the dictionary out and looks them up as they go through the scoring. This is the situation. What happens for Jamie is that she feels this is being overly competitive. It distracts from the purpose, which is to spend some fun time together, and makes it less enjoyable for her. She tries to dismiss it, but over time it continues to bug her. Okay, so this is a very simple, almost a pedestrian example, but it serves the purpose. So what would her NVC statement be? First is observation. I observe, I notice you guessing questionable words and then looking up the words afterwards. There's a fact there. Okay, it can't be argued. Second is to move into the emotions and the thoughts. When I see this, I feel annoyed, I feel frustrated. It makes me think that you're more interested in winning than enjoying time together. Third is the need. I need to feel connected to you. I need to see that we both value investing time together. So what can she request that gets that need fulfilled? Can we make a rule when we play this game that we only write down words that we know are correct and that we don't need a dictionary to look up? You can see how this is a compromise. You're still playing a competition. You're just constraining it so that you can only use words that you already know. You can see how the process is being used here. This is what I observed. This is what I felt. This is the message it sent to me. This is the need that is not being met. And this is what I'd like to do to get that need met.